What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, Leanne. I'm behind the scenes with the scenes and in between with the beautiful dream. The dream is soul culture. Soul culture is a transformation of us liberating ourselves into union within the inner spaces and outer spaces with many tools in the toolbox of life that help us to master this mind and to connect with the divine, and how many ways that we need to work through that with this beautiful illusionary lifestyle that we live in. Being in our illusionary lifestyle, we come to recognize something that was in topic this morning, our chakra body. And why I work with chakras, because I realize they are the gateway to recognize in each moment they are spinning with their own fluctuations of emotions of good and bad that end up meeting another person in their good and bad, whether we have contrast or alignment. And so coming into alignment is doing your daily yoga or doing your daily activities that get you connected to your best possible version of yourself within yourself and preparing for the interactions of your day. So there's more responding than reaction. Now, when we need to react, we know in this path, the reactions come with a need for preserving our purity, for maintaining distance from harmful things, and being intuitive at our spiritual growth in the path of this wonderful grace of response. So in our topic today, we will be shedding light with my dear friend Brad. He's behind the scenes, but the microphone's going to hear his sound, and he'll be coming into further talks in the future with wonderful conversations of his insights and spiritual awakening of his own journey. Today, Brad, I'm going to welcome him in. You can hear his voice. Hi, Brad.
Hi there. Hi, everyone.
Hi. And what's your full name? Brad Lee-Busshe?
That's it.
All right, beautiful name.
Thank you.
And yeah, you're welcome. So why, and this is kind of trippy for me because I'm physically here and then he's the voice. It's like God has appeared. But I like to come in front of the screen because I really believe that this is what really gave me the courage, not only in people, but to see and to interact with this cellular computer part of me that's projected out to you to reach you in your hearts and your mind and your soul. So soul culture reminds you, as we go back into these topics that we're going to share with Brad today, it is about understanding the mind, using methodologies to master the mind, but also understanding the integration process of being in the marketplace, but not being of it. So this is something we were conversing this morning and knowing how to deal with the multi-dimensions of this life, the good and the bad, the letting go, the changes, and then cutting the shit out.
Cutting the shit out.
Okay, so this is the main topic, cutting the shit out. So Brad, why don't you start with what that really means?
Well, what's a good question for us all to ask ourselves is to ask ourselves right now, take a moment, take a quick moment. And what does it mean for you to cut the shit out? Yeah, because it's your enlightenment that's most important of what that means.
Mm.
And how much time have we been spending drowning in the shit? How much time are we giving in this life, in this space, in this moment? How much of our being are we given to the shit?
Mm.
So cutting the shit out means stepping up to the plate. They call it man up, manning up. So I can speak from that perspective as taking the form of a man in this life, for example. So all you men out there that are listening, this message is more for you at this moment now.
Mm.
So we're switching that. And what does it mean to cut the shit out? Well, through our ego selves, we portray in the world in and around us, we're manipulating. We're manipulating ourselves when we're holding on to the shit, holding on to our ego selves. I'm going to say that that's the shit at this moment. And how long have we been holding on to this ego self that then tries to manipulate and control the world in and around us according to our shit that we're holding on to. So let's talk about the shit below the belt. That shit. The ego self shit connected to our sex, connected to our male organs. And what are we doing and how are we manipulating with that shit the people in and around us? Now, you might be a married man, you might be a committed man in a relationship right now. And in a committed relationship, as we know, we are to be committed. So if we're committed to our shit rather than committed to our relationship, then we're manipulating and we're not living out a life that is on the surface wholesome and real. So what kind of shit have we been holding on to, thinking that we, our ego self, because that's not our true self. Make sure you recognize that, because we've got to separate the shit from our true self. And if we're not living out in our true self, then we're living out a lie. And that's the shit.
So good. So yeah, so for me, coming back to feeling how to cut out the shit, there's like circumstances that we come out of alignment with on this path of enlightenment and being an enlightened being here and now, and recognizing, what are the layers of why the shit shows up? What are those layers that Brad's saying that we're not living in our full potential of our best possible version? So we start talking about the art of witnessing. In the 8-week program that I have, what I learned from my masters, how to be present, how to be here now, how to appreciate, how to find that flow, and then things taking care of itself. And not having to go back down into disempower that root chakra, but empower that root chakra up to the heart center. And being a loving, compassionate being, because the witnessing aspect from there will observe you as you are as a whole being. And consider in each interaction, you have the opportunity to meet the divine. Now, a lot of people, whether they're consciously aware of that or not, it's not for us to change. It's for us to maintain that wholeness within our individuality. So cutting out the shit from that area would be like, why are you not maintaining your center? What methodologies do you need to maintain not harming yourself because somebody else is harming you emotionally, or somebody didn't do what you expected? The universe is going to take care of it. The surrender and understanding is the hardest lesson of attachment. When we cut the shit out and allowing ourselves to let go, because we are love. Now we talk about circumstances of relationships or the life, and we look at our family ancestral wounds, or we look at repetitive cycles that are ongoing. We're part of a major dynamic play of interactions, of things that just keep unfolding, not just because we're here, because of energy of our ancient lineage. But then recognizing the calling, if we've been called to this ascension process or enlightenment process, are we maintaining our practice? And what is our practice or methodologies that are keeping us there? So we were having a little chat about certain practices, and then I was
like yoga,
like
qigong, like meditation. What else are we doing out there now? Sometimes they're doing calisthenics. There's a calisthenics.
Yeah.
Like there's exercises. Can be a type of form, especially for us gentlemen, to get the testosterone levels regulated. But again, I don't want to segregate both male, because we each have both male and female essences within our being, actually. So
good awareness. Remember this too. So your right and left hemispheres of your brain, we all have what they call the Shiva Shakti, male and female energies, right? So with those two hemispheres working, even in our hands, that's why they say when you play piano, you get more opening. So with enlightenment, even masters of masters, when I've been with many, have suggested that we are more open to learning on a continual basis. So we are preparing the body for this rising of Kundalini, for where we are locked naturally to experience this unfolding of divine power. and being with that divine aspect for its beautiful journey from unconscious aspects to fully cosmic conscious aspects.
So whatever methodology we're using, and like Leanne is saying, it's about using the methodologies and practicing them faithfully so that we come into a balance within these energies and these within the chakras. I mean, naturally, that happens when we do a practice of any kind, but we need to commit first to the practice and be true to it. And by being true to it, we're being true to ourselves. And just like a relationship, when we commit to a relationship, we need to be true to that relationship. And if we're not, and our mind is wandering on other things for other reasons, and we find it wandering, be it with desire, be it with lust, be it with these lower level places below us, then it's going to be hard if we don't keep that in check and in truth. It's going to be hard for us our spirits to rise up to the other higher levels of the chakras. So it all needs to be in check.
So that we're not just coming from that lower place, but then that conscious place of beingness. So the beingness meeting moment to moment, and that amazing understanding of understanding that we are of that beauty and we are of that fragrance. So as we go through these spontaneous moments, we're recording, we're also taking a moment to be here now, to jump into the fire. And sometimes when we say cutting out shit, it's also showing up and transforming ourselves the best that we can here and now to understand the beauty of performance, participation, the importance of participation in knowing the wandering mind can always come back to center no matter how much it's challenged. Even in this moment, we're here recording and we hear noise in the background. How present are we? We were talking about when I was drinking my matcha this morning. Take the time to taste the drink.
Take the time to see where you are right now. What state of being? Where is that consciousness at? Are you suffering with a state of consciousness that you've been holding on to and attached to for far too long? And if so, this is your moment right now. Take back your personal power, your state of being, make that choice, and cut out the shit.
I think that it's also very good for Brad to talk about what is shit. So what would we need to cut out? Like, for example, how people are treating you. Why don't you talk about that? Why don't you talk about how you're being treated at work? How you're being elevated in your dream projects? How are you expanding and knowing this all-pervading energy of consciousness, which provides all to everything every day, that you're owning and harnessing its value within you and without of you to execute your dream projects?
Yeah, it's taking us out of purpose. And when we're taken out of purpose, then we find ourselves lost. We find ourselves not happy. We find ourselves angry. We find ourselves pointing the finger at other people rather than pointing the finger at self and at the shit.
The beauty of being here and now and showing up with cutting out the shit is recognizing nothing is perfect. We are imperfectly perfect. And then once we understand my morning yoga class with my two clients that come in with two different issues, two different ages.
Did you hear that, everyone? We are perfectly imperfect.
We are imperfectly perfect.
Or can we be the other way?
Yes.
Perfectly imperfect?
Yes.
Or
both.
Imperfectly perfect?
Yeah. They're both actually working. Right?
Totally.
So good. So here's the reality and the reminder of the power of the now. When we are more present with appreciation, with gratitude, we actually taste the food that we're eating. So be aware of the emotional body. But how do we do that? So the 8-week program that I designed based on 30 years of a lot of work, doing yoga for a long time, being with Ascended Masters, I combined, the awareness of chakra sounds, chakra body, chakra asana, the merging of yoga into the divine Purusha of the cosmic consciousness of Shiva. Really understanding that takes its own time to shed. So shedding into soul culture Master Osho also did something great when he came in my life. I was in an emotional state in 2007, big life lesson. Father of my kids was put in prison for 20 years. 2 kids. I'm sitting there after 10 years of sadhana and really needing some master tools from my own emotional imbalance of growing spiritually. And here I'm in my 20s, right? So they say it takes a lifetime to get enlightened for most people, and they may have to repeat lives to go through this enlightenment. Here I'm in the peak of a 10-year expansion of being called at 19 and into that, angry because of the situation, but I was also relieved of the situation. And then coming into terms with a master coming to find me. Now, remember, all ascended masters are there, but they find us according to the moment we are divinely called, based on our other expectations, maybe of other masters, that they have to filter for us and prepare us to understand what we have. And that's what I had to learn. 10 years of sadhana with Osho and his work and his enlightenment at age 21, I was able just to recognize it was only the method that he was actually trying to convey the message, to find a bridge between trusting what he dissolved in.
What method was that?
The main method was Vipassana,
What's that?
is just observing the breath. We all know that that's the main method that Lord Buddha gave us for enlightenment. The other main methods to get to stay there in a modern way, full of trauma, full of pain, and full of anxiety, while doing yoga and while having all those old repetitive programming I had for 10 years, was dynamic. So he created dynamic methodologies rooted in music, mathematics, and meditation, 3 pillars, so that when we're in the marketplace, music is on and we are harnessed in our dynamic work of reverse psychology, and we're centered that the marketplace is full of beauty, life is beautiful, and humans are in a state of nirvana because we're in a state of nirvana. And nirvana was a constant human interaction of acceptance of yourself, doing your work alone, and then sharing aloneness. So what I learned is I didn't have to go to the mountains to achieve nirvana. I actually achieved nirvana by being in a modern state with modern activities that cleansed my soul, that were strategically, mathematically instructed by his enlightenment, given to us by him, alongside empowering my root foundation of yoga since I was 15 years old to truly see yoga for what it was, because I found peace. Now, without peace, you're not going to find anything. You won't find the observer of what the 5 kosha bodies say are your mind body, your breath body, your food body, your breath body, your mind body, your observing body, and your bliss body. We need to maintain all these 5 elements of nature every day with all these chakras, and we have thousands of meridians all happening at once, digestive systems, elements of making sure we get enough water in this body, that we're talking right, that we're not emotionally entangled, we're not hurt. And that's every day of our life that we're in the power of presenting a foundational methodology that yoga merges us in to cosmic bliss.
So in this 8-week program you're talking of, we're going to be observing one another, and what you've accomplished and been taught and been passed down, you're going to be allowing us to experience
a connection to witnessing. So the art of witnessing, what I was able to understand in the marketplace, was an infinite trust that everything works for you, not against you. That trust has to be rooted in us like a falling. So when you do Yog Nidra at the end of your Shavasana and yoga, you should be able to fall so much that you can lose anything and still know you're being held by the Almighty.
Right.
And that's the art of pure witnessing. So in the kosha body, that's your 4th kosha.
So in 8 weeks, we'll go through all 5 elements with you?
5 elements, all chakras that relate to asana work to hold your body in, sound therapy so that you know how to work with sound in order to clear, and then you'll have alongside the yoga aspect of preparing the body with yoga, you'll merge into 8 dynamic methods that were I found which the most suitable out of 112 methods, over 150 methods that Master Osho had to flow to get a really good integration of the Wu way of being present within existence and being in the marketplace and thriving and clearing your doubts and maintaining when obstacles are facing you, to react, you respond.
So it's a whole new way of being, state of being. It's a reset.
A definite reset.
Great.
Yeah. Master Osho, even at that time, when he knew when he was leaving it, and he knew that the cell phones were coming and how much interaction we would have, because he was an ancient and awakened man. He knew it was coming. He said, this is the new man, the new woman. And he put women as a priority in a shift of consciousness, especially being in India, because there was just too much where women lost their place in time. And in the womb of the woman, where we come from, the elements of nature, where she takes the predominant aspect as Shakti in 4 elements versus Purusha, the importance of honoring that so we can merge into Purusha, the cosmic consciousness, was giving back to the divine feminine, giving back to the divine earth to honor each other.
And what are we doing today? I ask each of you listening right now, what are we doing today to honor that divine feminine? What can we do today to honor that divine feminine in ourselves and those that are projected outside of ourselves? What are we doing to honor them?
Mm.
That's where we need to come into a new realization, a new honor, because through honoring that divine feminine, we are actually honoring ourselves and we're honoring the divine masculine.
Mm.
I think we can,
Finish here. I think one last thing is talk about the trees in my house today. Now talk about Shakti and talk about the divine feminine. And one of my most recent rituals of the Shi Chakra Yantra, one of the greatest blessings that have come my way, was in my sadhana. I was able to merge through that channel of technology, wisdom, mantra therapy, and to see within my body, within the universe, the flow of Shakti and the current of Shakti right to the center of my body. And the amount of energy that my soul, you're bringing us some nature. I think we're gonna like block me here, but okay, wait, let's see if we can
see
get
it?
in. Ah,
It's not picking up
it's
on
not
it.
picking up.
Oh,
It's okay, but it's a plant that's in my family room. So as I finish this story of using the Shi Chakra Yantra therapy, which I'll be continuing to teach and master with Master Swami Amritanand Nath Saraswati out in India, my gratitude to his lineage and his work of Shi Chakra Yantra and the Sri Vidya lineage, Mahavidya lineage, was merging into divine Ma and seeing from the core of nature within us that cosmic bliss of her love. And Brad had been looking at one of the plants. So one method before I go that you can do regularly is be present with the nature that's around you and see with new eyes. See with eyes of love. Be aware when you're in your anger to come up to your heart, to call a good friend that you know cares about you and heal, and know that love is waiting for you in your next moment. Don't feel that you're stuck.
And ask for forgiveness.
Mm.
Ask for forgiveness.
And so it is. So that's us. It's Shedding into Soul Culture. It's our podcast. Finally, we made it. Behind the scenes, Brad is there. He'll be in front of the camera very soon. I love you all. God bless you. We'll be together soon and share more of these great ancient wisdoms of Sanatana Dharma and soul culture.
Much love and light to all of you.
Namaste.